This is the application for the Tapo C465. Let's get started. Here you could see a picture of the camera itself, its name, its location, as well as a battery indicator. If this was charging, this would be green. We have a quick toggle to turn on and off privacy mode right from here. But let's open the camera up so we can get an idea of what's going on. Up at the top, you've got your name, you've got your connection speed, and then another indication place for the battery. Right here on the screen itself, which will be changing shortly as we're approaching dusk, you have controls. If you tap it, you have your multi-camera view right there. So if you have other Tapo devices, you can turn them on and add them to the view. So I can hit done, and then that particular camera is in privacy mode, but I can turn that on really quick. And there you can see I can have multiple cameras. Coming back to our single view, to the right of our multi-view, we have a toggle for our video quality. You have 4K, 720 or auto, which will switch between what it thinks is necessary for your current bitrate. To the right of that, auto, which is the day-night mode. So this will be switching to night mode shortly. But if we want to keep it in day mode, we can select day mode, or we can keep it in night mode. To the right of that, this is our full screen mode. And we could see by pinch to zoom, some of the other cameras I have are already turning on their IR lights. Again, if we pinch to zoom, you can see over there on the left, you have 18 times digital zoom. So I'm gonna come over here, show you what that looks like. There's the door, there's the other camera, and then double tapping will pull that all the way back out to give you an idea of just how closely we zoomed in. Selecting that will take a still image of anything that's on the screen at the moment. To the right of that, we have our camera record. If I select this, it will record anything that walks through frame in real time and then save it to our downloads area. Next to that, we have our camera's microphone. You can adjust how sensitive you want your microphone to be. To the right of that, we have our telephone. This is going to be our communication. This is going to be for full duplex. If I tap the call right here, the people outside will hear me in real time talking to them, and I will hear them talking back to me. To either side of our call button, we have turning off and on the mic, turning off and on the speaker. That's all going to be camera side. And then right here, we have our settings, so we can adjust the camera speaker or the camera microphone's sensitivity. And we're gonna turn that off and come down. This option was full duplex. This option right here is tap to talk. So you have to hold this to start talking, and you'll see pulsating around my finger is actually indicating that it's talking. We have the same options that we had on our full duplex. To the right of that, we have our alarm mode. Now, this is only to arm the alarm itself. This is not to actively set it off. You will have to have something come through frame, like a person or a pet or a vehicle, to set off your alarm. Now, we do have to the right of that privacy mode. Selecting this will turn the camera into privacy mode, meaning you do not see anything from the live feed. It will not record anything, and you have to turn it off in order to get your picture back. Coming down, we have our light. This is going to be the LED lights on the camera itself. Notice that there is a countdown timer. That is because this is a battery-powered camera, and you don't want to leave that on and deplete the battery because you forgot to turn off the LED lights. Next to that, we have our tag on and off. This will put a blue box around whatever happens to be moving through frame to make it easier to track and identify. Next to that, we have our Tapo Care. Selecting this opens up Tapo's paid services, but I appreciate the fact that Tapo does not make these mandatory in order for you to use the camera. So if you're interested, this is what you get for what you pay for. 30 days unlimited cloud storage, rich notifications with snapshot, video summary, weekly report, smart sort, and baby snap and growth record. This is an outdoor camera primarily, so I don't necessarily think the baby snap would be as useful for this particular camera. As we come down, we come to our playbacks and downloads area. Here you can see this is actually a deer that was in my yard the other day. But if I tap on this, we have similar controls that we had with the live feed. We have a play pause, we have our volume on and off, take a snapshot, take a video, or the scissor icon will allow you to take a particular download and trim it to how you'd like. Now, what it's doing currently is speeding through, because if I bring this back up and select that and pause, the blue indicates an action item that occurred. Along this timeline, you'll notice all this purple. This purple is a setting that allows you to do incremental snapshots that mimic having a 24/7 recording in a battery-powered camera, which I'll show you that option when we get to it, but it's a very nice feature to have if you want to have something akin to 24/7 recording. If we come up to the top here, we do have to play this. We have the ability to slow this down to 1/16 or speed it up 16 times. Having the ability to adjust the speed is great. Moving down, we have our local storage versus cloud storage. We've got our date selector here. So any spot that has a blue dot means that there was something detected and we could select it and go back and look at it. So in this case, got a deer that was very close to this camera and where I had it mounted. And I mean, the antlers were within inches of the actual camera itself. If I wanted to download any of this, I simply select the dots and I can select download, or I can correct the event type, meaning, well, this wasn't necessarily motion, this was a pet. If pet wasn't detected, I could change that and help make the AI smarter. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna come back here and show you along this timeline here. Each of these blue lines indicates a action that has happened, and then the purple is the 24/7 recording. So right now, it's speeding through. I have it taking 10-second incremental shots. If I want to, I can kind of come over here. There's an event that happened. So we'll let that kind of speed up and hopefully get into the event. There's the event, and then it'll move into the incremental shots once more. If we come back up to the top and select our downloads, here we can see everything that has been downloaded. If I want to filter, I can select the three dots and then tell it what I'm looking for in case I have a lot of things to go through. I also have the ability to select multiple items, which will allow me to share, favorite, download, or delete. And if I didn't want to do that, I can simply select and hold on a singular one in order to delete, download, or share. If we scroll down, when you first get your camera, you will have an extra area for the Tapo Care. You can get rid of that and then save yourself a little real estate. But that has been everything that we can do for the camera controls. Let's move up to the camera settings. Starting up here at the top, we have the name of the device as well as its location. We have device info, lots of sensitive information in there. Won't be showing you that, but if you wanted to check your firmware, you can do so there. Coming down, we have detection. This will allow you to select wake up sensitivity. If I come in here, it shows you just how sensitive you want this to be. Notice the range pushes out as you increase it. And then you have your detection test if you wanted to double check to make sure that it's actually picking up where you want it to. We have our detection zones. Right now I have this set for all, but if I select this, I can set individually for each type. Now, right now I'm selecting for 3 different ones. I can select edit here, and then I can adjust my motion zone. Maybe I just care about that there. People, maybe I just care about over here by my deck. And then animals, well, animals is mostly over here because this is where they come from. And then if I wanted to, I would have to turn on my vehicles, but I could do that. But notice now I have 3 separate zones for each detection type. We're not limited to a single one. We can make a whole bunch of them and set them as we want and where we want. I can delete them individually. I can select to clear all of them, or I can leave it on all, which is what I prefer because I want all motion in every zone I have. As we come down, this is where I can toggle on and off the detection type. So here's motion and then the sensitivity. So let's say for a person, I want high sensitivity, and I can even change the exposure if I wanted auto exposure on or off for that particular detection type. Same thing with pet. Maybe I want better pet detection and I can adjust my auto exposure. I like the fact that I can change these based on a per detection type and not just have to group them all together if I don't want to. Next to that, we have our alarm. We have on or off, and then we have some settings. We have alarm type. Is it sound and light, just light, or just sound? We have our sound types. We have default, which can be siren, emergency, or red alert, the volume, high, medium, or low. And then if we wanted to, we could create a custom one where I select add a sound and we can give it a name and then tap to record. I'm going to do this because you have 15 seconds to record a sound. This can be fairly long, especially if you're talking as much as I am. And once you complete this, you could just hit the stop button, but I'm trying to bring it all the way to the end to show you what that looks like if you talk a little too much to try and do this. And there we go. We can play, which will play it on the camera itself, and then we can record again if we weren't happy with this. If we are happy, simply select the save in the upper right-hand corner, and your new custom sound will be sent to the camera for future use. Underneath our sound type, we have alarm duration. You have default, or we can do custom, 5 seconds, 10 seconds, 30 seconds, or customize it from here. And we can go all the way up to 30, but we have access to the numbers in between. So this is why it's custom. And there you see it's saving it at 12 seconds. We have our alarm type, motion, person, pet. So hypothetically, because of where this is, I really don't want to scare off pets. Motion, I get a lot of things blowing through my yard. I only care about people and vehicles because there really shouldn't be a vehicle back there. So those are the only two things that are going to set off alarm. Alarm schedule. Well, you've got all day. You have during the day, which is 8 a.m. to 8 p.m., during the night, which is 8 p.m. to 8 a.m., or a custom schedule, which will allow you to set days and times. Personally, at least for where I have it, all day works just fine. We have our anti-theft alarm, meaning if somebody messes with it, it will set off an alarm. And with this being a magnetic battery-powered camera, it's probably a good idea to turn that on. Coming down, we have our battery status. So we've got show battery status, show percentage. We have working mode. Right now I have it on balance, but we can change this between high performance, power saving, and custom. Once we get into custom, that starts to change things. So clip length, clip recording, clip buffer. You can just go right into high performance, which will give you a warning that it's going to sacrifice power savings to get longer clips and better motion triggers. You do have your auto power saving mode, which if you turn this on, will automatically put it into this power save mode when it drops below 10%. So it's going to put it back into a balanced mode instead of that high performance mode. Coming down, we have our solar charging data. You're going to want to turn that on so it gives you more graphics down here. Auto privacy mode, I am surprised that they actually have this on this camera. It pretty much means if the camera is charging, it will automatically go into privacy mode, which is problematic because there's a solar charger built right onto this camera. Tapo, maybe take that out of the application for this particular camera. But as we move down, we have our battery levels over the last 7 days. We can do this over the last 30 days. You can see the large spike as my sun has been coming out. We have our battery usage. That's going to be when things get triggered. Time usage, you can click on this and get information on that. Here we've got details where trigger times, things of that nature, wake ups versus filtered out by the AI, and then solar energy output. But I like the fact that Tapo gives you all that information. I enjoy data, and I like the fact that it just presents it to you. And if you don't want to use it, you don't have to, but it's there if you do. To the right of that, we have our 24/7 capture. This is off by default, so you'll have to come in here and turn it on. You can then select your capture interval. For me, 10 to 20 seconds has been my sweet spot of getting the most out of things with being able to see what's going on without really missing anything. You also have a schedule, so you can select when you'd like to have 24/7 recording happen if you don't want to have it happen all the time. But if you ever need to disable it, simply select disable 24/7 capture and you won't have it anymore. I recommend doing it. It hasn't been that much of a power drain in my opinion, so why not use that feature? Here we have another link for our Tapo Care. Don't necessarily need to use it, but it's there if you need to find it. Storage and recording. This is going to allow you to loop your recording, meaning when your SD card fills up, go back and start recording again. We have our local storage. Selecting that will allow you to see camera storage, whether your SD card has been properly formatted, how much storage you have left on your SD card, your loop recording, and then right here, SD card encryption. Tapo has been doing this with a lot of their newer cameras, meaning if I turn this on, this is going to limit access to this SD card to this specific device. It's going to make you use a password, and then it's only going to be accessible in the Tapo app. So you need those three things in order to actually view the things on the SD card. So if you want that level of privacy and security, this is how you can do that. And then we also have format SD card if you haven't done that already. Coming down, we have our clip settings. We have our retrigger time. How many seconds between each time it triggers an event do you have to wait? Because we moved it into the high performance mode, that's why it's at 0. Record buffer, I have it at 6 seconds. This means when motion is no longer detected, the camera will continue to record just to make sure it gets a little extra. And then maximum clip length, right now it's at 60, but you can go as low as 20 and as high as 120. I keep getting that warning because if I change anything, it's going to take me out of the high performance mode and put me into a custom mode. Just under that, we have our recording schedule. Again, tell it what you want, when you want. I like that they allow you to do that. And then we have our record sound. I also appreciate that Tapo has this on by default, but if you live in an area where you're not allowed to record sound with your video, that's where you can go to turn it off. Moving on, we have video and display. Up here at the top, we have our night mode setting. You either have infrared or you have your full color mode. For our infrared distance, you can select near, medium, and far. And for our full color mode, that will use the LED lights to let you see color at night. Video quality, I have it set for the 4K, but you can set it at 720 or leave it at auto, which will have it switch between the two based on your connectivity. 720 is still considered HD, but if you're getting this, I would recommend, if your Wi-Fi can handle it, putting it at the 4K. Privacy zones, right now I have this turned off, but I can turn this on. And what this will allow me to do is if I select privacy zone, I can add a zone. Let's say right over here by my stairs. I don't want to see that. Okay, I'm going to select save. What that does is that puts a black box. That black box will be in the recordings, in the live feed, meaning I will not be able to see that area. So this is really good if you have this camera situated kind of close to where neighbors are, and maybe you had like a house over here and you wanted to cover that up. Simply do that, and you don't have to run the chance of seeing things in your video that you don't necessarily want to see. Coming down, we have our distortion correction. This camera, you really don't have to worry about it. Like, I have not noticed any type of fisheyeing, but if you notice it because of where you have it placed, that's how you can fix that. We have our image settings. You have original, cool, warm, and soft. This is a little easier to see in the daytime. Or if I come in and I change my night mode to full color, now it turns on the LED. So there is our original, there is our cool, there is warm, and there is soft. You can really tell the difference when it goes down to soft. But we also can adjust our brightness. So if we really need to brighten up this picture, or during the day, maybe we need to lower that because it's too bright. Just know if you make any changes here, this is not automatic. You will have to come back and manually make these changes. We have auto exposure on or off. It's giving you a general idea of what that'll do. I personally don't care for the way the video looks with the auto exposure, but you have the ability to change it. We have detection tag. This is that blue box around a person, pet, or vehicle. We have our detection tag labels, meaning it will tell you if it's a person, if it's a pet, making it easier for you to see what and where something is. On-screen information, we have our display date and timestamp, and then we can select how we'd like our date and time. We have our display text, so you can set this as docking bay 3, and then we've got our Tapo logo. Moving on, we have display tag on screen. This is going to be the connection speed and then a live or not live. Moving on, we have our spotlight brightness. Right now I have it at 4, but this is great because I can show you. Lowering it, that's a 1. Raising it, now it's at 5. So you can adjust as needed. We have our LED status light. You could turn that on or off. We have our Wi-Fi connection. So if you needed to change that, you can do so there. We have another place for our privacy mode, on or off. We have our notifications, on or off. So activity notification, you turn that on or off. Activity type, you can select what you want to get notified of. And then our schedule. Always during the day, during the night, or a custom time frame. Rich notification, you will have to pay for Tapo Care in order to use that, but it is completely usable without. Advanced settings, we have our power line frequency, auto 50 Hertz or 60 Hertz. This will help with light flickering if you happen to see it. Generally, you're going to notice that if your camera was purchased in a different region than where you're using it. Voice call mode, we have standard and compatibility mode. If you put it to compatibility mode, the camera will change as many settings as it can to make sure that you have a stable voice call. Much like our display settings, hardware acceleration versus compatibility mode. If you need to have that visual, putting on the compatibility mode, the camera will change as much as it can to make sure that you have a stable video connection. Diagnostics, you can turn this on or off. Generally, this is if you have a problem with the camera and you need to work with Tapo's support. They're going to ask you to generate a diagnostic for them. Coming down, we have share device. Right now, I'm not sharing it with anybody, but I could select the share icon here, and then we would enter the email address for the person, and then send it to them to share this particular camera. Keep in mind they will need their own Tapo account in order to share your Tapo camera. Underneath that, we have Smart Actions. This is really good, especially if you have other Tapo products. Tapo really makes this simple. You can set this up as a add a smart action. We're going to not add a shortcut, we're going to add an automation, and this is a simple if this then that. So you would select an effective time, when, and it's what it is. So device changes status, time of day, arrive or leave. So I could say when the camera and then sees something motion, blah, 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 then turn this light on, turn this light off. It is very simplistic to use, but they do give you a bunch of predefined ones to get you started on that path if you've never used something like that before. Under that, we have our user guide. So you've got a welcome guide and a mounting guide. We have Support Center. If you need support for this particular camera, they make it really easy. Find your user manual, find your product warranty. All that is located here. We've got our firmware. Do I need to check my firmware? I can check for it manually, or if you set it up during the setup process to auto, it'll check for you. We can reboot the camera from here. We can remove the camera from here. And that has been everything that we can do for the Tapo C465 in the Tapo app.